Welcome back to Dive Time Dota Fastcast International 2016. We're in the Grand Finals.
Grand Finals!
The Grand Finals! It's the Grand Final countdown? Okay. Wings Gaming versus Digital Chaos. It's been quite a journey to get here. Wings kind of just floating along in the high ground, upper bracket, the high ground of upper bracket. And DC working their way back from their loss to Wings from the upper bracket, having to fight all the way through the gauntlet of the lower bracket.
That's a good point. I forgot that this is an upper bracket rematch. I mean, just some really good Dota coming out of DC. I mean, they lost. It was the first round that they played Wings and lost? Yeah, and they went all the way through the losers bracket. They felt like they had their signature win a couple times, you know? Like, they left the soundproof box with their arms held high, like, we did it, we moved on, yes, we're the best! And they did that a couple times, and that's always a good sign when your team is, like, consistently going out there and...
we have a lot more momentum coming out of the lower bracket. You're fighting for
so much
your money, whereas in the upper bracket, you always have this little buffer room until you reach the Grand Finals. The Wings have to be feeling some pressure here.
Yeah, so we should... Oh, speaking of
There's
talking
a draft
about the
going on?
Yeah, Wings gets a Pudge, and they'll pair that with a Slardar IO. Storm Spirit...
It's mobility, man.
It's mobility.
You've gotten wrecked by Storm Spirit. I know.
Everyone's gotten wrecked by Storm Spirit. He's the original pub stomp hero. People can't do that, and then they do. Meanwhile, DC is able to get the Void. It actually lasts pretty long into the second round of picks.
Wings countered with Silencer, and then they got the Pudge even to Bro Hook.
Yeah, the Pudge is a lot that it can hook out of. DC fighting for the top rune and gets a kill.
What do you mean top ward? No, you mean not top.
I never said that. Never happened. Wings. So Wings lose the hero, but they're right back on their feet and in lane pretty quick there. So DC gets an early kill and a rune advantage. And I'm gonna say something that I've been saying as long as we've been watching Wings, which is an early game advantage against Wings doesn't mean anything. They're not worried about losing kills in the first 10 minutes.
The rubber band's really strong in this meta. Early game kills aren't worth that much,
right?
And then you kill somebody that's a little bigger than you, it's huge.
Yeah, and Wings also really builds towards taking towers, and towers just do so much in this game. The trickle-down effect is there. Io connects to the Slardar, who dives for the Timber, but wow.
That was pro.
Can't finish the Timber, runs through the jungle, Io saves his butt.
Runs under the tower through the jungle.
Yeah, but there's a second kill for DC. It's in the top lane. Which appears to be a try versus maybe dual lane when Io's not around. Oh, but here's a gank in the mid. Io Slardar.
1-1 though. Storm went down.
Yeah. Skywrath, yeah, good clutch. Getting Storm Spirit before he went down. That probably did make it worth it. DC moves in on a Pudge, he suicides himself, and the Silencer gets tethered.
And almost pushed him off his back.
The very last tick of the Silence does enough damage to kill the Void there. Skywrath dies again. I think it was in the mid, maybe not around where the camera was. But now, look at that. Kills are 4-3. So it's still pretty even.
DC has double vision.
Oh, big hook on the coddle. That's a flesh heap for the big boy.
First one, I think.
I think so too. 4-4 now. Skywrath won't be able to finish off the Storm Spirit, but does do a lot of damage. Timbersaw diving past the tier 1. Here comes the Storm Spirit IO, moves in. The tether stays connected through that charge. That's pretty cool. And they get the Timber, who is way out of position.
He's the ultimate tank. He takes like twice as long as to kill as anybody else on the map.
Timber?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he really does. But it looks like he was able to help secure that tier 1 going down. But meanwhile, DC take their own tier 1. So it's a trade of tier 1 safe lane. Or, no, excuse me. All wrong. Wings has lost 2 towers. DC got them both, top and bottom. Pause. Reset. Okay, we're back.
Go.
So So the Kronos comes in on the silencer, the Skywrath ult is there, and DC gets another kill. It's 5-5 now. So kills are even. Map control heavily in the favor of DC. And this isn't exactly the Wings that we've come to know and love.
So, you know, we made it to the grand finals, but I'm going to do it Chrono.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
It's not Chrono's Fear. I mean, as much as Fear would like that.
Whatever. DC loses 2. Wings TPing out safety. The IO will get cleaned up.
I think that was a bro hook saving Slardar. Like, Slardar started the TP and he got pulled out of the jungle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, the Pudge is super defensive. That's how they're going to run him. But I don't know if it's going to be enough. If DC's taken all your tier 1s before you even get one off the map, I don't think they accounted for enough push. Coddle doesn't hit towers. He clears waves, but he doesn't hit towers. Timbersod doesn't hit towers. He clears waves, but he doesn't hit towers.
Wings is still keeping the XP, though.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, here's a fight. The tier 1 Radiant side. Wings uses the IO to regroup after a bit of a crazy skirmish there. But DC got on their heels, and so they end up just kind of disengaging with each other. Wings moves to the bot, but they don't have a tier 1 to defend, so they'll break up the band. And DC smokes from their jungle into the mid, into the dire jungle. They're looking for trouble. They don't find
Huge
anyone.
Moves. So much time wasted.
Oh yeah, Wings does their smoke gank down towards the bot as well. So it's crazy with the amount of vision on the map. They both don't see each other enough to find a gank from either of their smokes. That was Wings losing 2 in the bot lane, but they did get their first tower off the map. Was it a deny? Kind of looked like a deny.
Either way, it's not there anymore. Bloodstones are up on Storm and Timber. Pretty equivalent times.
But DC is gonna get the Pudge.
Eat that Pudge.
In the top lane.
The silence to counter the Blueberry.
Big move. DC moves behind the tier 2.
3 for
Tower
2.
is denied.
Wings did a buyback.
Okay. But Wings had, that was a good defense by them. They get the kills. They get the deny. I'm just realizing when I thought I was talking about Wings, I was talking about DC, but DC's lineup doesn't have as much tower push, but they're still getting it, so I don't know. DC gets 2 kills now. It's gonna be a 3 as the IO TP's like 5 meters to the right and doesn't, then gets sent right back and gets killed. DC wraps around the Roche pit and gets 2 more as Wings wasn't really out of the area. They were still looking to maybe re-engage or get a hook on the Roche pit. So that goes really well for DC. Lots of kills. I think maybe 1 on everyone, or at least 4 of them. And the first stages. And they're up 16-12. So yeah, I think that fight was actually the difference at this point. The IO gank is there with the Pudge.
Doesn't look like anyone
did it just
died.
Yeah, does it just pop the Aegis? Check for an Aegis.
might have just Bloodstone back immediately. Aegis is still up.
Okay. Alright, yeah, so it was probably a Bloodstone thing then. But then Wings lost 2 on the back end of it, interestingly. They couldn't defend their gankers, so DC again getting a better engage. Top of net worth is Storm Spirit on Wings, but the next 3 are DC, and that's another tower. 1 outer tower remaining for Wings. It's tier 2. And it doesn't look like this team has got a foot in the early game, and I don't see a way out in the late game either. Slardar is, he will go late, but he's not gonna change the tide against this lineup. So DC gets a Chrono on the Storm Spirit, just the way they draw it up, and Skywrath ult finishes him off. DC lose 2 high grounding though. Wings lose their Slardar, but wow, there's a lot of sentry wards by Wings in their jungle. They're trying to take out the vision, I guess. So, and the Storm Spirit gets killed again. He tried to heals for safety, maybe he got heals ganked. Either way, he wasn't going anywhere, and the rest of DC was around. I think so far the difference for DC, I mean, apart from draft changes as the Faceless goes in, and I think a Silence was maybe committed to get the...
Silence was pre-Blueberry, actually.
Yeah, oh, okay, well, Wings lose 3. And as I was saying, besides the draft difference, which I think is a very not Wingsy style of draft, they didn't get enough early game, and and tower push, but I also think that DC has done a very good job being grouped together. And when two teams have pretty equal drafts in the mid game, it's going to come down to coordination and team fight, and DC's team fight has been on point this game. So that seems to be the difference maker as DC grouped up as 5 in the top. Storm Spirit moves in on the Faceless Void, but moves right on out, and that's going to be a tier 1. Racks are getting hit, Illusion's doing work, Glyph comes through, Smoke from the Fountain, moving into the mid for the top. DC stands and fights, another Chrono comes in, and that's 3 more down. That's another quick GG coming off the first racks of the game.
Wings really haven't had a good track record with Pudge.
Yeah, that's another loss for them on Pudge, and I don't think that they have given up on the idea of a defensive Pudge hooks, but I don't think they'll come back to it because that's 0 for 2 is, if I'm counting correctly, in the main event.
16 for 4, Core Skyrath. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, very cool. DC really giving Wings a taste of their own medicine. Almost as early, not quite as early, I don't think, but almost as early as Wings beat them last game. So good job by DC, and now the series is 1-1.
DC took a game from Wings in their last matchup.
That's true.
When they drafted Pudge Techies.
There was a second game as well.
All right, come for game 2. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.